Hey there, I'm professional psychic Karen Marie, and this is Psyched-Up Sundays for November 6th, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your valuable time watching this video. Thank you to my new subscribers. We're almost at 400. This little baby channel is growing. Thank you so much. Those of you that are sharing it with your friends, those of you who have donated to this channel, many blessings, and may they come back tenfold to you. I really appreciate the tips that y'all send me. Just makes me feel loved and supported for sure. So for those of you who don't know me, I've been a professional psychic in Austin, Texas since 1988. So in December, that'll be 35 years. Certainly I can't be that old. But it's true. Been doing it that long. I'm a channel, which means information will just come through me from my higher guides, from a higher source. I don't see my guides. I don't know really who they are. It just information flows into me like electrical current moves into the top of my head. I'll often feel energy, like goosies is what I call them, running down my face and arms, when energy's pouring in and when I'm feeling really on about something. Info flowing through. I'm a medium, which means people's loved ones will interrupt readings, come through and want to say something to you. I am an empath, which means I feel what you're feeling. I didn't know I was an empath for my childhood. It would have been really lovely to know. It wasn't until I started developing and working on psychic abilities and developing those when I was after I was 18 that I realized, oh my goodness, like, oh, everybody doesn't pick up on what everybody's feeling in the room. Like that's not a thing. Oh, okay. It's just me. I can feel what everyone's feeling in the room. All right. All right. I just assumed everyone did. Like, so I find that a lot with my clients too, is that we can just take our psychic abilities for granted and just not even know that they're different. Everyone is psychic, is what I believe. My Psyched Up business name is about let's all develop our abilities. Let's all listen to our intuition. The psychic abilities, intuition is the voice of the divine within us. It is our higher self. It's the voice of the higher self, the Buddha nature, the Christ self, whatever you want to call that. It's the piece of the divine that's within us. It's the part of our soul that carries on after we put our bodies down. That's what we get when we tap into our intuition. And it shows up differently for everybody. Some people are visual. They see the auras, they see the spirit guides, they get visions, they see it in dreams. People are auditory. They can hear messages. They can get signals. Some people can smell smells, like it. All the senses can be heightened psychically, right? So, I've been doing my work in Austin, like I said, since 1988. In private sessions, I usually dive into the astrology chart as well as the current transits. And also I use the Oso Zen Tarot deck, and I do tarot astrology. It's a combo of what I'm feeling, what I'm getting, who's interrupting. Past life flashes will come as well. So those are my private sessions are a combo package. I do want to remind everybody that I'm offering a special if you host a party for the holidays. So between now and the end of the year, or if you schedule a New Year's party or in January or whatever, you schedule it before the end of the year, you can get my discount rate on parties. And I set that up one of two ways. Either the host or hostess pays for my time by the hour, and I have a minimum of 2 hours. So that's 4 people getting 30-minute readings a piece, can be the smallest group for a party and getting the extra price special. Or you can have each individual person pay me directly for their mini reading. And at larger parties, when there's lots of people there, those mini readings are usually just 15 minutes to make time for everybody to get readings. And I can get a lot of information out in 15 minutes, let me tell you. In smaller groups, people usually tend to want to get more like a 30-minute reading to get more information. In private sessions, most of my clients get hour readings. That's kind of how the difference between mini readings. You can come and get a little taste at a party. You can invite your friends over and have me be there and everybody can pay me individually, and then we're all golden. They're my favorite things to do. I've done a bunch of them lately. A lot of you have taken me up on my special, so I appreciate that. But I still have some openings between now and the end of the year into next year. So if you'd like for me to be at your holiday party, or if you've been thinking about inviting a bunch of your close friends over and doing readings all together, this is the time to contact me. So I've got my contact information below, so make sure you reach out and do that. And besides readings in private session, I also facilitate past life regressions, where I guide you back into seeing your past lives, and you're telling me as I'm guiding you through the process. Past life flashes I'll get often in readings, like I'll get hits on things you've been or done before in past lives, whether I'm looking at your chart or your cards. It can just pop in. I'll get that information sometimes. But the regression, you're getting the information yourself. I'm guiding you through that. It usually opens up something for you psychically that you retain with for forever, really. From the first time someone regressed me years ago, that opened up a portal for me internally. And ever since then, I've been able to see past lives and get past life hits and, past life information. So it can be super powerful for all time in that way. I also do rebirthing, which is coached breath work to clear out any debris that you can't get to or access. You don't have to logically talk it out or understand it. We can just go in through guided breath work, access it, and clear it out of the body. It's super powerful work. I do psychic development instruction, where I help you tap into your abilities, and you leave with all kinds of tools to be able to practice continuing to work on developing your abilities. I do house clearings, and I also do house concerts. If you want me to come and do music for you, I'm happy to do that as well. So this video today, I'm going to do like I usually do, which is talk about the transits for this week. I'll do mini readings for all the signs, and I suggest you look at your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising. If you don't know what your moon and your rising sign are, you can go to astro.com, astro.com. You can register for free on that site, then plug in your birth date, your time of birth, and your place of birth, and it'll generate a chart for you to be able to know what your rising sign is, which is super important. It's the sign that places all the planets in the astrological wheel, and it's a super important component of your personality and who you are. A lot of times people that don't really get into astrology, a lot of times it's because their rising sign is really different than their sun sign. And they're like, man, I'm not really like that, whatever their sun sign says they're supposed to be. The moon sign can also change in a day, because the moon changes every like 2.5 days. So like you could be, if you're born in the morning, you could be an Aries, and that night you could be a Taurus. So the time of birth is critical. If you don't know your time of birth, you will not know your rising sign, and your moon sign may also be a question mark depending on what time it, like I said, if that day is a sign changing day for the moon. So you can often order a long version of your birth certificate, and it can be on there, but it's not, the time's not on everybody's birth certificate. It usually is. That's usually where you can find the time. Other places to look are like baby books from childhood. Front pages of Bibles can have the time of birth. A loved one that was around when you were born could remember stories. But anyway, so please do go dive in and learn more about your own personal chart. But for the readings today, check out your sun, moon, and rising if you know them, or a stellium. If you have a stellium, which means 3 or more planets in a sign, make sure you check out those signs. So I'll be putting the timestamps below for the mini readings that I'll do today. It'll be what's coming up for the week. And then I'll do a song. I have another original song that I'm going to sing and play for you on my piano. So I'll be changing things and moving it out to my living room. At the end, I'll put the time step for the music below as well. So if you're not interested, you don't have to watch it. Not going to force you. All right, so let's dive in. Biggest event this week is one of the biggest events of the year, which is a full moon total lunar eclipse at 16 degrees of Taurus. That will be exact on Tuesday morning at 5:02 a.m. That's Austin, Texas time. So Tuesday, November 8th, 5:02 a.m. That's Central Time Zone. That's when the eclipse will be total. Now, we feel eclipses 6 weeks before them. We feel them for 6 months afterwards. Any transit, anytime you're listening to me and I'm talking about transits, you can feel them ahead of time. You can feel them afterwards. So just because something's exact at a certain time doesn't mean on that day you're going to experience something shifting. But I guarantee you that everyone's going to feel something in their life shift around this eclipse. Eclipses are always portal points. People come into your life, people exit your life around eclipses. Full moons can be intensive, right? The moons pull the tides. We can feel extra emotional, extra intuitive, like because the moon is the intuition. So we can feel extra psychic. It can be difficult to sleep. I often can't sleep around full moons just because I'm just like extra traffic in this spiritual realm that I can't sleep over. This one is conjunct Uranus at 16 degrees. Uranus is the planet that is the great awakener. It is the ruler of Aquarius. If you know any Aquarians, unless they have some stable earth signs prominent in their chart, you don't know what they're going to do next. They're not very predictable. They change things up. They don't like to stay the same. That's Uranus. Uranus wants to shake things up. It's not just being destructive, it's shaking things up and transforming them for the better. So Uranus may be disconcerting initially with the unexpected, surprising element that Uranus can bring. So the eclipse by itself brings sudden, unexpected things, portals, people coming in, people exiting. Conjunct Uranus, this is like the gnarliest eclipse that I've seen. I mean, it could be sudden, unexpected, positive things that can come in. Still, sometimes sudden positive things can be really disconcerting as well. If you're not expecting it, it can be what? Surprise parties. Not everybody's into those. So this is an intensive eclipse, right? We've been already dealing with some intensity over the last week because we have a stellium traveling through Scorpio together. Scorpio rules the 8th house in astrology. It's the deep, dark waters. It's our deep inner psyche. It's past lives. It's ruled by Pluto, which is the lord of the underworld. Scorpio is all about let's transform it. That's death and transformation, power and control. That's all about Scorpio. So these planets that have been moving together in a stellium are all interacting with each other, making it very intensive. It's causing us to dive deep. The sun's at 14 degrees of Scorpio right now. So it's halfway through almost of its transit through Scorpio. Another couple of weeks and we'll be out of this intensity. But the sun is illuminating the things within our lives that we need to let go of, that we need to transform, that we need to change. Mercury has been conjunct the sun, as it has Venus, and then the South Node are all there together, making it super intensive for the last week. So if it's been feeling ominous and deeply intensive, have you had old issues come up, karmic baggage coming to the surface? And what is karma? People throw that word a lot around, but karma is like your bank account. It can be in the red or the black. Karma can be good. It can be positive. Like you put a lot of positive causes out. You've done lots of good things to lots of people. You have good karma, right? You can have a heavy duty negative karma and like set a lot of negative causes, hurt yourself a lot, hurt other people, and get like a lot of kickback for that energetically as well. Whatever our karma is, we can transform it. We can make it better. We have karma that we bring with us from all our past lives. We can't see that. We can't even change what we've done 1 minute ago, much less a month ago, a year ago, a lifetime ago. We can't change any of that that's gone down. We have no power to change what's coming at us either. All we have is power in this present moment to be fully present, access our own intuition to get the guidance for what do I do right now, this moment today. Like that's the best advice for navigating the choppy waters of this week, is to breathe deeply and often and access your own higher self, your own inner voice, which everyone has psychic abilities. Everyone has intuition. It shows up differently for everyone, but everyone is intact with psychic abilities and the ability to listen to intuition and follow inner guidance. The mind is the biggest obstacle to being able to tap into the intuition, because the mind is everything we've learned, everything we've been programmed, blah, 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 blah. It can just be going, 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 going. It can be super intensive, especially we got a lot of planets in Scorpio that wants us bringing stuff up internally, karmic stuff showing up in our face externally as well. We also have Mars right now in Gemini retrograde. It went retrograde a week ago at 25 degrees of Gemini. It's still at 25 degrees. It has not moved much. It didn't move for the week before it went retrograde. So we've been feeling kind of stuck or stopped or blocked. If you've been feeling that way in your life, just breathe deeply, go with it. The last thing we want to do when Mars is retrograde is try to force stuff, try to make things happen now. It's really where we got to let off the gas and we just coast. We can make our plans, give ourselves plenty of time to go places. Mars is how we put energy into things, how we take action. It's our ego as well. It's also the male principle of the universe. So it's offline, going backwards. It can cause everybody to kind of look within. Any planet that's retrograde, the retrograde can cause us to reflect, review, reconsider, go within. And like, that's sort of the basic script, no matter what the planet is, it's an opportunity to go within. But when Mars is retrograde, Mars is the god of war. So a lot of people are imploding with unresolved feelings and emotions. You can try to go somewhere and you get blocked, you get stuck, your plans, you have to reconfigure your plans, you have to redo things that you do things twice, do things over again. That can happen when Mars is retrograde. Like, oh my God, I have to start and do that all over again. Yeah. So Mars retrograde will be going on until the middle of January. So this is not a quick transit. So get used to it. And we feel very much like Mercury retrograde. That is because Mars is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which rules the head, rules our thinking, our conversations and communications with others in all forms, on social media, on our texting, our conversations over the phone, our emails, our snail mail, all that falls under Gemini. It's the twins, it's duplicity, it's not knowing who to believe. It's the Jekyll Hyde energy. So Mars, the god of war, going backward over this sign can feel like things fritzing out. We can have technological devices fritz out, go belly up during this Mars retrograde. A lot of people can be just stirred up with Mars going retrograde. It's a volatile time, volatile energy, but it can be time to like, oh, let me just make my plans for what I want to do next year. Because Mars will go direct at 8 degrees of Gemini in the middle of January. Then it'll take till the end of March before Mars goes into Cancer, the next sign. It usually spends 6 weeks in a sign. It's spending 7 months in Gemini. So we're getting like saddled with this Gemini energy. I think that's why there's so much, you don't even know what to believe on social media. I mean, that's been going on for a while, but it's going to really intensify here over this last week and into the next couple months. Like what, like, it might be a good time just to stop watching the news, like stop tuning in, maybe take your social media break you've been thinking you need, just to not even see what the chatter is, because it's going to be off the chain intensive right now. So just know that, give yourself extra grace. If you're going to take a trip, if you're going to travel, you're going to get out in your car, be careful, give yourself extra time. There's no rushing when Mars is retrograde. And so, like I said, settle in, strap in, get used to this energy because it's with us for a while. Okay, so the stellium in Scorpio, we've had today Mercury conjunct the South Node. This is our thinking, our communications, conjunct the South Node. The South Node is where we're releasing things, we're letting go of things, we're clearing things out. So with the mind conjunct Mercury, conjunct the South Node, we could be letting go of stinking thinking. This is a really lovely way to apply this. Letting go of talking to certain people. Like, I'm not going to have a conversation with you anymore. Letting go of people in general, like, I'm done with this. So Mercury, again, is all those things, our daily life kind of things, and our thinking and our thoughts. So with Mercury conjunct the sun, sun's been illuminating, Venus is there conjunct as well. It's like, what do you love? Who do you love? Are you receiving the energy you want? So all of this is going together. Venus, the planet of love, relationships, money, finances, beauty, arts. This is all in here. So things can be coming up to the surface. Old loves can be resurfacing. That can also happen with Mars retrograde. People from your past can come back into your life under a retrograde. People from past lives can come into your life that maybe knew this lifetime, but like, hey, wait, I know you. That sense of knowing someone that can come up during Mars retrograde. So we've got this powerful stellium in Scorpio that just feels intensive because Scorpio is the deep, dark waters ruled by Pluto, the lord of the underworld. Death and transformation, power and control. These are the themes of Scorpio. So there's this deep, intensive energy stellium, and this stellium will be opposite this eclipse. The sun will be opposite the moon exactly. Uranus is almost exactly conjunct the moon on one side, and then Mercury is almost exactly conjunct. It's like 15 degrees, and the sun's at 16 degrees. They're even less than that. Like I have Mercury going to be at 15 degrees and 52 minutes, and the sun at 16 degrees and 0 minutes. Like they're almost exactly conjunct as well. So our thinking, things could be blowing our minds with this eclipse. Mind-blowing events are going to be happening this week. I guarantee it. Venus there, having your relationships blown up, how changes in money and finances across the planet can be happening with this eclipse. Major, major, unexpected changes coming in, volatile. The good news is about a Uranus. If Uranus brings something unexpected, takes something away, it will replace it with something even better. So if something gets taken away this week, you can trust that it will be replaced at some point in the future. Let's talk about some other things going on with this eclipse. Saturn at 18 degrees of Aquarius is squaring by 2 degrees both the moon and the sun. So it's between the two, creating a T-square basically in the skies. Saturn has been in an operational square with Uranus since the beginning of 2021. We had it exactly conjunct in a square. The Saturn, which is the old, the established, how we've always done things. It's the government. It's the one, old school. This is the way we've always done things. This is how where the rules are. This is the stop, red light, don't go here. That's Scorpio energy. Scorpio is like the teacher with the ruler, ready to snap you over the knuckles. Uranus is like the new, the inventive, like, oh, I want to explore. I want to create. I want to do things differently. Let's innovate this. Let's do it in a new way. And again, Uranus is sudden, unexpected things. It's in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus factors into this eclipse as well, because Venus rules love, relationships, money, finances, how we receive energy. So as the ruler of the eclipse, you can expect crazy changes in relationships around you and money and finances. And even if it doesn't affect you personally in that way, it's probably going to affect someone you know and love close to you in a powerful way in that way. Again, I really see people breaking up, a lot of different indications for that this week. New people coming in this week, like portal points around eclipses bring in new people into your lives, and people exit your lives around eclipses anyway. And Uranus bringing in the sudden unexpected things in a square with Saturn. So Saturn, like, this is how we do things. And Uranus is like, I'm not up for that. Let's do this differently. A classic way that this came together in the first square was in February of 2021. We had sudden unexpected weather, which is often what Uranus has been doing in Taurus, is shaking up the planet. It moved into Taurus in May of 2018, and it'll be in Taurus till April of 2026. So it usually takes 7 or 8 years to move through the sign. So it is literally shaking up the globe. Or just think about the fires and the volcanoes and the earthquakes and the tragic weather events we've had over these last 4 years. It's been intensive. So I just expect that to ratchet up and get even more intensive as Uranus moves through the latter degrees of Taurus in 2025, early 2026 is when I expect the biggest earth changes. But Uranus, eclipses can be around earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Like the eclipses can really trigger earth changes. Uranus can trigger earth changes. The two of them together, would not be surprised at all at volcanic eruptions, earthquakes on the globe this week at all. Like it's a signature for it. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be more surprised if there's not one. Let me just put that way. So Mars is retrograde. We've got a square between Saturn and the sun and Uranus. Uranus conjunct the moon at this eclipse. We have Jupiter that's moved back into Pisces now. It's at 29 degrees of Pisces. Jupiter takes 12 years to get around the zodiac. It just bopped up into Aries for the last few months and it's now moved. It's been retrograde for a little bit. It's moved back into Pisces. It'll turn direct. I believe that's the 23rd. Yes, Jupiter turns direct on the 23rd of this month in just a little bit. And so it will then move back into Aries shortly after that and begin a new 12-year cycle. So this is like a wrap up. It's gone back to give you another pop quiz about, wait, did you learn everything you were supposed to be learning over these last 12 years? Like, what has this last 12 years been about for you? Has there been spiritual growth? Have you developed yourself psychically? This is what Jupiter in the last degrees of Pisces is asking you. Are you caught up in your addictions, your illusions, your delusions? Because that's what Pisces energy is. Pisces is the two slippery fish. The upper fish is all psychic and spiritual, getting downloads from the cosmos and wonderful, vibey, high vibrational energy. The lower fish is like the guppy swimming along the bottom, caught up in illusion, delusion, addiction, paranoia, getting tired, like we can feel really sleepy when planets are in Neptune. That's sort of that illusion, delusion, like I just want to check out. Or we could be sort of vibrantly extra awake, like either, just like Gemini has the twins, Pisces has the twin fish. It's a very similar, like, don't know which way this is going to go. Jupiter makes wherever you're at bigger. So if you are caught up in addictions right now, Jupiter's probably making it worse. You're probably about to call uncle, like, I can't keep doing this. If you've been saying this, you're right. Don't keep doing it. Make that change. Get your butt to a 12-step meeting if you need to. Like, this is a time for transformation, because whatever we're carrying into as Jupiter moves back into Aries, it starts a whole new 12-year cycle. Another very interesting thing about Jupiter right now is it's closest to the Earth that it's been in 60 years. The last time it was this close to the Earth, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? So Jupiter is close to the world axis. The world axis is at 0 degrees of all the cardinal signs. So 0 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn is where the world axis is. So if you have planets or points on any of these points, in or without, like a 10-degree orb is considered conjunct. And then the closer the degree, the more intense that you feel this. If you have planets or points on the world axis, you were here to give voice to the world, to help the world out literally in an important way. You came here as a light worker to help the planet, basically. So Jupiter has been hanging around this world axis for a while. I feel like it's bringing a protective energy to help protect us from a nuclear war right now is really what I get, because with the volatile players around the globe that are, all pissy and in control and out of their minds, these rulers of countries that have nuclear technology, I can guarantee you, are all stirred up right now with Mars, the god of war, retrograde. They're unresolved. Anybody with unresolved anger issues is going to be extra stirred up and extra pissy right now with Mars retrograde. So with Jupiter right there hanging out at the world axis right now, I think we're getting this great big divine protection. Jupiter brings benefits. It brings good luck, but it also makes things bigger. So if you are caught up in addiction, Jupiter will make that bigger, right? If you're caught up in a bad relationship, the negative aspects of that are going to be large and in charge in your face. If you're taking to spiritual practices, if you started a new yoga plan, you're meditating, you're connecting, your intuition, your spiritual connection can also be off the chain, extra big right now. And as Jupiter moves into Aries here over this next month or so, we're starting a brand new 12-year cycle. So what do you want to create for your life over these next 12 years? This is a great opportunity to do a vision board, writing down a list of what your goals and dreams are, what you want to put your energy into, because Jupiter right there, these last degrees of Pisces, like, okay, what did you learn over the last 12 years? Did you grow spiritually? Did you wake up psychically? Did you get caught up in your addiction and lose track of time and get pulled off track? Like, what's been going on? Let's check in. Let's make a new resolve for the next 12 years is what Jupiter is asking us to do in this last degrees of the entire zodiac. We also have Neptune conjunct Jupiter. Neptune's at 22 degrees. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So again, it's got the duality between, it's a psychic radar that connects us to other people, to the divine, to our own higher self. And then on the lower end, the Neptune can get us caught up in illusion, delusion, addiction. So Jupiter getting close to Neptune is helping us on a positive end, connect psychically, spiritually, like psychic visions, dreams, messages from others, telepathy, picking up on other people empathically. All those can be super large right now. You could also feel super sleepy right now with Neptune. And Neptune's been moving. It takes a while. It's not a fast moving planet. So it's been in Pisces for a while. So a lot of people, they're like, why am I so tired all the time? Well, A, it could be aging, but B, it could be Neptune in Pisces. Like, it can really be that. So we just have to hold steady. Neptune will move on into Aries next year. That'll be a nice different shift. I've also been talking at length for the last couple of years about the Pluto return we're having here in the United States. So for those of you who have not heard this before, in the birth chart of the United States of America, July 4th, 1776 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Pluto was at 27 degrees of Capricorn. So it is now back in the skies at the same point where it was when the United States was formed for the first time since then, because it takes 250-ish years to go around the zodiac. It takes from 12 to 33 years to go through a sign, depending on how frequently or how often it goes retrograde, because it's got a weird elliptical, so it's not consistent. So I'm glad we haven't had 33 years with Pluto and Capricorn. That's all I'm saying. It's been intensive because Capricorn is the earth. Again, it's sort of that establishment, how we've always done things. And Pluto is about power, control, death, and transformation. It's a wrecking ball. Pluto will absolutely transform wherever it is in your birth chart. You came in to transform that area of your life, and wherever it's transiting, it is transforming that area of your life right now. So Pluto, as the ruler of Scorpio, is the ruler of this stellium that's going on right now. So we're all kind of being asked to dive deep within ourselves. And undergo the renovation, the wrecking ball of knocking down the crap and the shit and the people in our lives that do not work, so that we can build the things in our life that do work. So this is the benefit of transformation, is that you can roll up your sleeves, man. This is time to work, not time to coast right now. You can have days of coasting, like check into that Mars retrograde and Neptune and Pisces vibe and like, yeah, I'm just going to check out. I'm going to take a nap today. Like, you can take your breaks, but overall it's this intensive period that we're all getting our work done. We came in here to transform our lives. That's what I believe we're doing on this planet. We're evolving as a soul. We're learning our lessons, changing our karma, transforming our lives and the lives of those around us. To me, that's like the mission of being in a body, being here, is to do our work so we can graduate from this place and move to a nicer planet with the vibrations are higher and lighter, and people get it about peace and tranquility and harmony. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. And in the meantime, I'm trying to create that here in my life on planet Earth. I'm trying to create peace and harmony and tranquility with my own life. And I'm trying to do that in the lives of the people that my life touches. That's my goal anyway. Don't always hit it exactly, but I work on it. So Saturn, constriction, restriction, it's a player this week. in the eclipse, because it's squaring the eclipse. Could feel like the big kibosh, like someone trying to come in and control a tower as it's falling. Good luck with that. Like Uranus is going to win on this one. The upper hand, the sudden unexpected is going to win and do the breakthrough. It can be a time for tremendous growth and breakthrough. You can like jettison yourself forward in a major way during eclipse time. You can also fall way back and way off track depending on what's going on with you internally. So it's so paramount this week that you put your butt on the mat, you put your knees on the ground, you put your butt in a chair, whatever you do to tune in and connect with your higher self, divine self. Do it this week so that you know what you're guided to do on a daily basis, trusting that that's all we ever have to do is get the downloads for this one day. What today do I feel guided to do? That's all we ever have to do. Thankfully, we don't have to figure out tomorrow. And even psychics can't predict what's going on. I can predict it's going to be unpredictable. How is that going to be unpredictable? Well, since we know we have an election going on the day of the eclipse, we can pretty much put two and two together and expect that the elections are going to yield results that are unexpected. Whatever you're expecting, it's going to be not that. That's all I can say. What the polls are saying will not be what the election ends up being. That's all I know. And then there's all this volatility that's going to get stirred up. So let's drill down and just talk about more details about this week. Right now, the moon is in the last decan of Aries as I'm recording this. So this last decan is about feeling passion for your future. Last decan of any sign is like the future. Aries is about our own passion, our love for things. So we can really develop this beautiful passion, get excited and inspired about the future today, this evening. The other thing about this is with people with unresolved anger issues, as the moon moves through Aries, it can really make people pissy, just like Mars, the god of war and the ruler of Aries, can make people pissy as it's retrograde. The moon moving through Aries can stir up things. So take note of this. Pay attention to that. Every time that the moon moves around the wheel is back to Aries, which it does once a month. See if you notice that you feel extra pissy. Do the people around you, are they extra irritable? Just pay attention, because when Mars was at 29 degrees of Aries is when January 6th happened. Things coming to a head. And then it moved into Taurus, right? So right now, we've got the moon moving through that section of the sky where Mars was during the January 6th. So January 6th news could be big today and tomorrow. Things getting stirred up around that. Who knows what the committee is getting together to do, the January 6th committee. Like, it feels like it could be something intensive coming on just because of where the moon is going. And the moon moves into Taurus and it'd be headed towards its fullness on Tuesday, early Tuesday morning. The ruler of this eclipse is Venus. So relationships, money, finances, how we receive energy, money, music, arts can all have sudden unexpected things happen in these realms in your personal life or on the global scale. So again, expect the unexpected in your relationships, in your finances. It could be unexpected good news. You could win the lotto. You can have your past life love finally show up in your life. That could happen this week. You can also have the surprise hit, the surprise whatever. Again, do not go out in the world half-cocked. Don't go into your kitchen around your knives half-cocked. That's another thing about Mars retrograde. Mars can often be the knife or cutting. It's not a good time to have surgeries when Mars is retrograde. Sometimes you can't help it. Just put a lot of prayer into it. Bring your protective angels around you, but watch out when you're dealing with knives when Mars is retrograde, because a lot of people can end up cutting their fingers or whatever, having cuts, having to go into surgery for whatever reason. I have a friend who just sent me pictures yesterday. Her husband had to have surgery on his hand. He had his hand smashed and gashed, so he had to have surgery. And so such a Mars retrograde thing. He's got this gnarly scar down his hand now. It's like, wow, from his hand down into his arm. That's so a Mars retrograde kind of a thing to be happening. Okay, so after we get through the eclipse, and we will get through it, whatever we may look like on the other side, who knows? But then we have a day on Wednesday where Mercury will be squaring Saturn, the planet that represents our thoughts, our communication, in a square contentious relationship with the kiboshing planet. Like, don't tell me that. Don't say that. I don't want to hear that anymore. We could even put the kibosh on our own thinking, like no more of that way of thinking. Like that's a one way, some ways that that can show up. We can have difficulty with rules or things that we're getting with, anything that's in control. Saturn is the government or your boss or your parents or whatever controls you in your life. You could be at odds with that. You could even be just sit there thinking about it with Mercury, or you could have a conversation that could be intensive on Wednesday. I'm just seeing that. The sun is also exactly opposite Uranus. I mean, it's going to be conjunct this on Tuesday as well, but it becomes exact on Wednesday. So then we have the opposition of the sudden unexpected and the sun illuminating. So it's almost like after quakes going on astrologically after this eclipse. Then we have this beautiful little oasis, like the clouds part and the sun comes out on Thursday, and Venus is going to be trining Neptune. This is like the beautiful illusion. Venus is about beauty, Neptune, spiritual, psychic, music, beautiful things coming together. So it can be a beautiful day to have romantic interactions, to write a beautiful song, to create some beautiful artwork. Like it's just it's a day of beauty, working in your gardens, getting flowers, receiving flowers, giving flowers, and it could be a beautiful day with like getting clear around money and finances and stuff like that. We also have the sun squaring Saturn that day. So it's a kind of an oppositional energy. The sun in a square off with Saturn, like this is where I want to go. The sun is illuminating things. In Scorpio, it could be something within deep in our psyche. And Saturn is like, no, you can't do that. No, no, no. It's a no, hitting the red light, the stop sign, the kibosh. So this kind of, it almost feels like a stutter jug, like a bipolar. This week feels bipolar, swinging this way, swinging that way, swinging this way, swinging that way. Stop, go, stop. Oh, you can go. No, no. So proceed with caution, regardless of what you're doing. On Friday, we have Venus in a quincunx with Mars. So this is the divine feminine in a it's not as quite as intensive as a square, but it's not a pleasant aspect between Venus and Mars. So there can be like, wait, what did you say? Like relationship stuff can be going, what? Men and women not being able to understand each other well on Friday. Where your heart wants to go and where you can go can be at a difficulty. So it feels like it's another kind of, oh my goodness. Then we have another beautiful sun coming out of the clouds moment on Saturday when Mercury trines Neptune. All of a sudden we can have the good conversation. We can have the beautiful music. We can have the positive thoughts resonating within, downloads from spirit coming in a light, nice, clear, easy way. I feel like downloads can come in all this week with the moon going towards full and just like this volatile, the portal being open. Like the veil is thin during eclipses, right? So the veil between this world and the spiritual world super thin right now. So this is a great time to be paying attention to your dreams, pay attention to all your psychic hits and the information that's coming through, because your guides will want to work with you during this time if you let them. Sunday the 13th, we have Venus in a sextile with Pluto, and then Mercury in a quincunx with Mars. So again, a little quinky information, like what did you said you were gonna you didn't. And then Venus in a sextile with Pluto is like transformation in relationships. So there's all this transformational energy going on this week, particularly in relationships, because Venus being the ruler of Taurus and the eclipses in Taurus, Venus being opposite this eclipse, being activated, being pulled in literally, as well as being the ruler of the eclipse. And then Venus in these aspects with Mars and Neptune. And then it moves into the good news is like next week, starting on the 14th, we have some beautiful trines. We'll have Sun trining Neptune. We'll have Mercury in a sextile with Pluto. We'll have Venus trining Jupiter. We'll have Mercury trining Jupiter. Mercury and Venus both move into Sagittarius, which will really shift the energies out of this intensive stuff. So we really have like one more week of pretty intensive astrology. And it does start feeling better, starts shifting. I just still feel like there's ramifications with this eclipse coming for months to come. Like it's a great thing to like write down your goals for the next 6 months and see what you might accomplish and what transforms in your life between these eclipses and 6 months from now. It'd be interesting experiment to write them down. Okay, so meditate frequently, often, breathe deeply, chant, pray, up it this week. Up your spiritual time, because if you're plugged in spiritually, you're plugged in intuitively, you're going to feel all these things. You're going to know which way to flow with these vacillating currents that are just like going all kind. It's really like you can get caught in an undertow this week if you're not careful. You can get caught in an earthquake or a volcanic eruption, whether that's literal or figurative, showing up in your life with people feeling volatile and stirred up and not safe. And with the fallout from this election, because there will be a fallout from the election, no matter how it goes, right? We got such a polarized world that we're living in this country in particular. There's no way that two parties can represent the diversity of this country. It just isn't. And they're trying to force the square pegs in the round holes and the triangles in the rectangle boxes. And it's like, none of this fits. That's how I feel personally about it. So I feel like we need to overhaul our whole political system. I'm looking forward to that as Pluto, that's been transforming this old paradigm in Capricorn, the old paradigm that started in 1776 with the white men with the money are the ones that have the power and make the rules. That is an old Tower of Babel that is in the process of being brought to its knees. So anywhere where that power paradigm shows up in your life, whether that's in the government that you live in the business you are, even if in your family systems, when there's a power down thing going on, Pluto is transforming that. Pluto is the wrecking ball. It transforms where it is in the chart always. And right now it's transformed. It's like death and transformation, power and control is meeting death and transformation, power and control. It's going to be like a bloody battle, and it will be left, everything will be left shifted and changed. And I feel like that's going to be showing up in our world government over these next 2 years. Lots of changes going on because Pluto will begin to move into Aquarius starting in March of next year, dips its little toe into Aquarius, the wavy lines, which is about all humanity working together. This is where we're headed. So the power and control and the governing bodies will be taking into effect everyone. That's what Aquarius is about. Let's all vibe together, finding your tribe, finding the people that you network and connect with. I think there's going to be people leaving this country to find another place where they can find a tribe that works for them. This is going to be the times. And Pluto goes back and forth between the last degrees of Capricorn and into Aquarius for the next 2 years. It doesn't go into Aquarius to stay until mid-November of 2024. So after the big elections 2 years from now is when we have a major planetary shift. And so Pluto will be at 29 degrees of Capricorn during the presidential elections of 2024, also going to be a completely transformational, unexpected times. That's what I'm predicting 2 years out. Of course, we'll have lots more to talk about before we get there. So Pluto is transforming wherever it is in your life. Let it go. Whatever you need to release, let go of, transform, and change. It's time, is go time right now, right? You don't want to get caught in the undertow. I think it's so interesting right now how almost daily I've open my phone and see a new news report of some young musician dying. They're like, it's almost like daily, and almost all of them, not everyone, some of it's been like cancer and stuff like that, but for the majority of it, it's been addiction or overdose kind of stuff. To me, this is the Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces making larger the addictive thing. And people exit this planet around eclipses. They come into the planet around eclipses as well. So I feel like there's going to be more mass exodus this week, people leaving the planet, whether they're conscious or unconsciously doing that. Pray for your own peace and serenity. Pray for our country's peace and serenity. Pray for the world. Like, really, your prayers do make a difference. We all are affecting each other by the vibe and the energy that we're putting out. So when you raise your own personal vibration, it helps the entire planet out. When you're stuck in your addictive self and you're caught up in the undertow of your fundamental darkness, it's like you're creating a black hole that sucks in everybody else around you as well. So you can generate the light and raise the vibration, or you can contribute to the chaos. And it's up to you. Everybody can transform their life. And right now, the planets are like, let's go. Time to transform, time to change, time to let go the things that you've been holding on to that no longer serve you, the people, the relationships that no longer serve you, the things in your life that no longer serve you. It's a clearing time for new beginnings. So that's what I have for the transits this week. Ooh, it'll be really, really, really interesting to see how these eclipse shows up. I haven't seen an intensive one like this since I've been really studying the transit. So this is the most intensive eclipse that I've seen so far astrologically. So yeah, we'll be taking notes and talking about this eclipse for years to come. I think afterwards of like, that eclipse in November of 2022. Yeah. So it's kind of like people talk about 9/11 and COVID. Like this is very much transformational, surprising astrology with all this, the tug of war game going on between Uranus and the North Node and the Moon, and the South Node, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun on the other side. We got this big old tug of war dredging all kinds of stuff up into our face, particularly around love, relationship, finances, because it's on this financial axis between Taurus and Scorpio. So I think that's all I want to talk about in terms of the transits for this week. I mean, the Cliff Notes version is it's intense, surprising, unexpected, breathe deeply and often. Check out your own intuition for inner direction. Like, don't look to the world around you. Look to your own higher self, your own spirit guides. What do I do now? Yeah. And disconnect. Like, get off the social media stuff. Plug from the news. You're going to make yourself crazy this week. The news is you're not going to be able to trust the news here I mean, that's been the case for a while, but especially with Mars retrograde in Gemini, which rules the news and social media and all that, like, you don't know you can't trust what's coming out there. People are talking out of both sides of their mouths is what's going on. You can find that personally as well in your life. So blessings to all you guys. I'm going to take a little break, pause it, get a drink. I'll come back and I'll be doing mini readings for all 12 signs. So you'll not even know I'm gone. Okay, so now I'm going to do mini readings for all 12 signs. We'll start with the Aries. And again, I use the Osho Zen Tarot deck if you're curious about the deck that I use. So see what the Aries need to know for this transformational week ahead. I invite you to breathe deeply along with me. One of my rings just want to come off here. So I'm going to remove my rings. All right, let's see what the little babies of the zodiac, myself included, need to know this week. The letting go card. So what do you need to let go of? Who do you need to let go of? This is about releasing the old and letting it just go. Whatever you can't control, whoever you can't control, the things that might be controlling you in your life. This is about letting go of addictions, like I was talking about previously. You may have to let go of things you're attached to or people you're attached to. There could be some tears. You might have to let go of your outcome, what you expect the election to bring to you. Let go of that. Like this is a turn it over week. Just let it go. Go within. This is a great time to find your inner bliss that's not contingent on what's going down in the world around you. Like it's so important that we all learn how to just stabilize our own lives, regardless of what's going on our planet in our country with the people in our lives that's closest to us. But this is definitely release. This might even be go into retreat where you can relax and just let things go. You may need to take extra breaks, extra rest, naps, sleeping extra. You may feel like you can't sleep if you've got something getting stirred up emotionally. You might get triggered to where you have to release. You might be in tears with something. Someone could leave the planet that's close to you, and that can be a sad letting go as well. This to me feels like there's that deep sigh is also here. Like when you cry a hard cry and then you take the big deep breath afterwards. Like that's what this feels like. This feels like, oh, okay, it's all going to be okay. Just let it go. If it's important to you, it wouldn't be being taken away from you, right? So what's next in your journey? What are you moving towards? What do you need in terms of your own habits and behaviors and the things around you? What do you need for your journey moving forward? Let go of expectations, let go of resentments, let go of your negative emotional feelings. Like our ruling planet, Aries, is Mars retrograde right now. And so it can really be stirring up old issues that we have emotionally, old addictive issues, old relationship patterns, old patterns with money and finances. All those kind of things can be stirred up right now. Our old habits, time to let them go. What is no longer serving you, you need to say goodbye ritual, do a burial service for it, thank it for its time in your life. Even addictions can be trying, usually most addictions start by you trying to help yourself in some way. And then you get caught up in the addiction itself and it's no longer serving that initial purpose. If that's what's going on, let it go. It's time to let it pass. If someone, it's time for them to leave the planet or it's no longer time for them to be in relationship with you, let them go as well, right? As you would want them to let you go if you were the one deciding you're out of here. And that may be some of you as well. I'm like, I'm going to let this relationship go. I'm letting it go. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I'm going to let it go. Right. So there's just a big release. It feels very powerful though. It's not just like tiny. This is like big level, deep stuff is what it feels like you're releasing this week, Aries. So let it go. I'm hearing the Frozen theme song, let it go, let it go. And that's what you need to do. Just let it go. Trust that you're being taken care of. Trust that you have in your life what you need. And the rest of it can just go to the heavens, right? Okay, so that's what I have for the Aries. Let's go on and see what the Tauruses need to know right now. Besides the fact that you have an eclipse in your sign. We've already had one earlier this year. So most of the Tauruses I know are going through major changes in their life over this last year. You can't help but do that when your eclipse is in your sign. So hopefully Uranus will be bringing in something positive unexpectedly into your life this week, Tauruses. Let's see what the cards say. You got the friendliness card. This is about relationship, your closest friend, someone's going to be your best friend, the people that you can count on to be there for you, that do not judge you no matter what you show up looking like. They don't care if you've got green hair or purple teeth or whatever. Like they love you for who you are. So this is about relying on the people that you know love you. And for some of you, you may be meeting someone new that develops into that kind of a deep level friendship. And I think at the core of all really good relationships is really good friendships. Like if you have a really good friendship, you can manifest a really good relationship. So friends are paramount this week. You may be helping a friend, reaching out to friends. Friends may be reaching out to you for support. Dear friends, I mean, it's just, reach out to the people that you care about. Like there may be people struggling that aren't letting you know. Like these are such intensive times. If someone's coming across your radar, reach out to them. Make that phone call, send that text, send an email, get out a pen and paper and the stamp and an envelope and send them a good old fashioned snail mail. Like those are always fun to receive. Time's gone by, but this is, and it's funny because I'm even getting this hit about someone having like a pen pal. Maybe you had a pen pal as a child or something. I don't know. Some people may still be having pen pals. I had heard when Queen Elizabeth passed that she had a pen pal in the United States that she had been writing with for back and forth with for like 50, 60 years. It was someone that shared her birthday and had sent her a note early in her reign, and they became pen pals and they kept it up until she died. I thought, how cool is that? That's a very cool story. I think more people should be pen pals. So anyway, for some reason the pen pal thing is coming up. So maybe you've been thinking about writing someone. My girlfriend, my best friend in high school, and I used to pass a journal back and forth instead of passing notes that would get picked up. We had a journal, like a spiral, and we would just take turns writing it and hand the notebook back and forth. It feels like that kind of a thing. You might want to set up something like that with someone you love, even in-house, like leave a journal out so you both can write. You can work something out by writing back and forth. So someone needs to write something out. It could be emails back and forth. You can go like new school. It doesn't have to be old school. Texts are the worst though, I think, in trying to understand someone and work things out. If you're trying to work things out, texting is the worst. So this feels like either get together, have a walk together, break bread together, have some tea, or pick out that pen. And if someone's far away, like write them a letter. I don't know. I'm getting that someone needs to get a letter, receive a letter, send a letter, Maria, take a letter, Maria. Okay, friends, paramount this week, important, who's there for you. And this would say that there are people who are there for you. And if they're not, they're coming in. So the people in your life closest right now, you can't trust. That means there's people that are coming in that you can. And that's what I got with this card. Let's go on. Ooh, the Geminis. Geminis need to know. Okay, you've got Mars retrograde in your sign, so that can feel personal. That's going to be going on for a while. So try not to take the planets personally. I advise that for anyone. Like it's just, it's just intensive times right now. It's just harder than usual. Ooh, but this is lovely. I've got the Lovers card showing up for the Gemini. So this can mean you've got love in your life or love showing up this week. There could be childhood connections. I always see this heart here as like your love for self, most importantly, but also like childhood love or like someone that you've loved in past lives or loved from before. Like there's a deep heart connection there. So you may even be thinking of someone that you had a deep level heart tie with that's not currently in your life. They've passed on or they're in another place right now and you're not connecting. So I'm getting that there's a strong psychic pull with some of you Geminis, and some of you may be just feeling a psychic pull with someone you have not met yet, but feel like you're destined to. Like there's a heart, like my heart is waiting for you, kind of a feeling. There's some really great communication that can happen this week. With even things that you love to talk about, like there's this space. I think that's interesting that their hair here turns into like a space scene here. So there could be like great conversations around things that expand your consciousness, things that you're just totally interested in. You can have great conversations about around astrology or some sort of technology development or creative project or something maybe going on with people. Just get so excited about it, like a new project that started, something that you love, something that you're passionate about. But the Lovers is the Lovers. That really means there's love showing up in your life. And so if it's not already in your life, be open to receive it because it could show up this week is what this card will say. There's some really good news. There's some downloads here from spirit coming too. So you might even get some powerful dreams or psychic visions or information psychically this week about your love life in particular, or pursuing passions, things that you really love is what I get there with the Lovers card. Well, that's lovely. Surprise love coming in. Surprise love. Heartfelt love, past life love, childhood love, or, it could be, I would consider high school still childhood. Could be someone that you loved when you were growing up that may come back in, or you may hear from them or hear of them, touching your heart this week. But it feels like there's a beautiful energy of love going on for the Geminis. Let's move on to the Cancers. The Silence card. This is about getting still, meditating, praying, having active dreams while you're sleeping, just going away from the buzz of the world so that you can just get still and you can connect with your own higher self, your own inner world, your higher consciousness, your spirit guides around you. There's a lot of information in this silence. There's, for one thing, you can quiet your mouth. It takes a lot longer to quiet your mind. Like you can go into a silent retreat and still feel noisy inside into 3 days into the silent retreat where you haven't talked. So this is a call to silence. It's a call to being more quiet, maybe less social, and just being more time with yourself. Maybe you need some extra sleep this week. Maybe you need some extra nap time, extra meditation, prayer, chanting time this week. You're also, what's interesting to me is this full moon here is in the third eye position. So it almost feels like you're going to get a zap from this full moon eclipse, like psychically, like something opens up, some realization opens up, some aha, some insight, but it feels very quiet and subtle internally. It feels like it's an internal realization. I mean, it could show up by somebody or something saying something that triggers something. And you're like, yeah, exactly. But the inner click, 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 click is definitely going on quietly on the download. You know, you could choose to tell someone if you wanted to. Write it in a journal feels more appropriate, but getting still, getting quiet, letting all the frenetic energy fall away, like maybe soaking in the tub extra, going for a walk out in the woods, sitting by a fire or by some water. There's a deep pull, of course, to the night skies. So just, you know, I just feel like it's time to sort of unplug from the world as much as possible so that you're not hearing frenetic energy, whether it's the sound of the television or your phone or the computer, or it just feels like it's important to like, ooh, just be really rocking silence this week. That's what I'm getting for the Cancer, is that you can silence and quiet can be rich and full this week. So please dive in and create as much space and time for that as possible. This would be a great week to like just go and retreat by yourself. I know that's not possible for most of you, but how can you get little aspects of a retreat and weave it into your life this week? Little things you could do. You can go get a mani-pedi maybe, or get a massage, or take extra naps, or sit and have extra time to write in your journal, or turn off your electronic devices, even for a few hours. You know, even if you can't do it for a full day or you can't do it for 3 days, but like if you can like unplug for a few days, do it. It's going to be hard to unplug this week because everybody's going to be curious about how the elections are going down, but it doesn't matter is what it feels like when it comes to you guys. It's like whatever's going down, I need to get right with me. That's what's going on in Cancerville. All right, let's go on to the Leos. The morality card. This is like feeling on lockdown, shut down. This card comes up a lot of times in private sessions when someone is dealing with Sexual abuse from childhood or somewhere in their past, sexual assaults can come up under this. It also could come up in relationships with people who aren't having any sex, whether that's because they're single and they're not dating someone, or they're in a relationship where the intimacy has just shut down. That just happens a lot. It's come to represent those issues in private clients over the years. It could also indicate people that are like literally locked down behind bars in jail, or feeling like they're imprisoned in some way, or blocked or stuck by somebody or something in the world as well. So it's very intensive, whether it's because you've got all these planets in Scorpio and all of a sudden you have memories surface from some stuff in the past, or you're just really feeling alone and isolated, or not, or lacking of intimacy in your life. And some of you maybe not have an intimacy and don't care, like, but this is someone who's just feeling all, I mean, it reminds me of the old school teacher with their mouth set all in a thing. It's like, it feels like bracing yourself from the world, like, oh, I need to protect myself. I just don't want, it's too peoply out there. I don't want to go out there right now. Like the Leos usually are like social, yeah, let's go party. And this may be a week where you're like, no, I'm staying alone. You could feel shut down because you feel sick too. Like this could shut things down for you this week, but it feels like you're getting, either it's a wave of stuff internally that's coming up from the past, or it's a reconciling of where things are in your life right now. I do get, though, that these dark clouds, this intense energy will pass. It may be intensive all week, however, but there is like a clearing, even though this person's hands are clasped, almost like they've got their hands in handcuffs up here. It's in a prayer position and the hands are green here. So I just get the feeling that there's an like prayer coming in, like really, like instead of like just really turning things over and really being open to receiving help and support. And some of you may need to like talk to somebody to work out some of these issues. If it is around a sexual assault or sexual abuse, particularly in childhood, that shit does not come up and out easily. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to meditate on this and it's going to be gone. Now, this could require something else. It could require, journey with therapists and some plant medicine. It feels like it may involve something you've not tried before. Yeah, and it's weird that these white things almost remind me of like nuns habits kind of thing, that there's something like puritanical here. So there could be someone who's just even maybe you've got great sex, maybe you got too much sex going on and someone is judging you for that. That could also be happening, be either sides of the pendulum. But it's almost like there's a puritanical kind of like pilgrim, kind of like old school, old religious kind of thing. And I don't know if that's coming from your own programming or a parent or someone around you, or just what you're tapped into, but it's not serving you. Whatever this energy is does not feel like it's where you want to be right now. So the good news is you won't be here forever. There is ability to shift and change it. If you are dealing with sexual abuse from childhood, you need help. There's no way you can heal that shit by yourself. I haven't seen anyone be able to do that alone yet. But there is some wonderful, powerful healing modalities that are on this planet, and really gifted light workers and therapists that can help you. So if that's you, just ask to be guided to the right people, places, and things that to help shift and clear it for you. If you're looking for a relationship and you're not in one, what part of you is shut down energetically and not open to that? And there may be reasons. Maybe you just got out of one and no, thank you, I don't want another one. But can you be more open in your body physically is what I feel like. I feel like there's needs to be an opening and expanding, because there's this rigidity and there's like a shutdown, something going on, clamming up. It's almost like someone recoiling into themselves. So let's open it up. Let's breathe deeply. Let's get some healing hands on you, some healing words going back and forth. Dive into some healing literature. Yeah. So I feel like there's a way of, well, all of a sudden now I'm drawn to how this is almost feels like lace around the outside. There's a way to turn poison to medicine. There's a way to turn this obstacle or whatever you're up against, or this timing or the situations that you're in, into something better. There's a way to transform it. So that would be my prayer. If you don't know how to fix it, how to transform it, just to see yourself on the other side of it, what was it look like and feel like if you're in a relationship having a beautiful intimacy expression on a regular basis in your life? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Can you get that in your body right now and be open to that? If you're imprisoned and you're confined, what does it mean to feel like you break out from the confines that are limiting you and holding you back? Whether that's a person or whether they're self-imposed, there's a need for a breakthrough and a breakout this week, Leos. Okay, we'll go to the Virgos. Got the mind card. Yeah, it's a pretty good card for this week. What the F? You know, this is again with your ruling planet is Mercury. So Mars is retrograde in Gemini, which is also ruled by your ruling planet. Although a lot of astrologers I've been hearing believe now that Virgo's ruling planet or dwarf planet is Chiron, which is the wounded healer, which I think is an interesting spin on this. But this is Virgos have a tendency to crawl up in your head and overthink. There's just no way about it. So this can be a week where you're getting healing in your mind. You're letting out the steam. You're getting it out somehow. Like something upsets you, pisses you off. I can't believe this. OMG. Process it in whatever way you feel guided to. That's whether it's writing in a journal or talking it out with someone or going for a walk or, you know, making a new sculpture or what, pouring your energy into creative energy. Like it feels like you need to do something with your energy instead of just trying to bat things around in your head. Like to be getting physical, chop wood, carry water, dig in the garden, you know, wash the dishes, clean out a closet. These are the things that would really help you clear out your mind this week just by getting physical. The light is right here behind, like the light is coming. It's just like you just don't be too freaked out about anything this week, whether it's how the elections show up, what someone says to you, what the surprise stuff you get in the mail. Just expect things to go crazy this week and be off the chain and breathe deeply and often through it, you know, and you can then access your own intuition to allow you to feel guided about what to do. Because right now it just feels like, what the F? And you could just be these chimneys, smokestacks can be just things and people that seems to irritate you and make you angry. So don't go out into the world half cocked. Make sure that you're grounded before you move something, because it feels like you could get something that has triggered some anger too, and then just be kind of volatile and make some have some accidents or make some mistakes. So give yourself lots of space to emote. Like people step far away from the exploding volcanoes. Like you want to step away from the volcano. If the volcano's you, okay, you need to step away from others so you don't spew some stuff onto them. Don't spew it onto yourself either. Like this is like calming, soothing, whatever brings up calming and soothing for you, whether that's putting peppermint oil on your temples or rose oil on your heart chakra, or you know, the stones and crystals bringing in, or again, nature, grounding yourself. I'm really getting nature as an important component of this week. You're building something new, you're starting something new. You could just be overwhelmed by too many details too. It's like, okay, just step away from your brain when you need to. Like step away from your work, step away from whatever you start getting like this around, whether it's another person in a conversation, whatever you're fixating on in your mind. Step away, open up, breathe deeply, know that this too shall pass. That's what I get for the Virgos. All right, let's look at the Libras. Come together. This is the participation card. This is when you're getting together with other people, and it's the support system of a group or friends or people that are there for you that are standing out this week. Even people that you might be surprised, like you may be working with someone that you didn't think liked you or whatever. All of a sudden, something's coming together. This is like people and situations coming together this week. So it feels very much like hands together, like even I'm envisioning like 12-step groups where people like are holding hands or putting their arms around each other at the meeting, or you're getting together around a campfire, or you're getting in some sort of communal, some sort of group together. You're getting together with others to chant or pray or do yoga or something. It's like this is like team effort time this week for the Libras. You're working with other people are working with you, all hands on deck kind of feeling. But it feels like it could actually be a nice surprise that things come together, or a nice surprise when you go, maybe you explore a new group, a new connection, somebody you haven't hung out with before, or people you haven't hung out before, and there's a really lovely connection there. There's a lot of heart warmth. It could even be gathering with your own children or people you know well. This could be, playing poker, playing bridge, could be putting a puzzle together. It feels like a project you could work on together. If that project is your own inner growth, great. You could, like, I don't know, this feels like it's a multi-level, multi-people deal this week. You're not doing it by yourself this week, that's for sure. So enjoy the people, places, and things in your life that bring in community, bring things together, because it feels like this is a lovely week for that, for communing with others, for joining. Like if you've been thinking about connecting with a group of people, this is, go do it. As I'd say, go connect with that. You're going to join that meetup group you've been thinking about doing. You've been thinking about picking up salsa dancing or whatever it is, that yoga class, going to join the gym, going to, like, whatever that is, it involves other people being there as well. This is the week to do it. So enjoy your communion with others this week, Libra. All right, now we'll move to the Scorpios. Intensive for y'all, right? With the stellium moving through your sign. I mean, happy birthday to those of you whose birthday is this week. The sharing card. This is having something to share, something to offer. You're giving, you're feeding someone. This woman has a plate full of food. She's also got a candle, so she's bringing the light. This card is often like the mom card, the queen energy, when someone is like got everything they need. She's got her gold, she's got the food, she's got enough where she's got something to offer someone else. So this is for like helping others, being of service to others. Reaping rewards this week feels like could happen, come in, like all of a sudden you get paid by that client that hadn't paid you in 3 months or whatever. It feels like it could be nice, like things coming together on a financial end. It just feels like you're in a good place with yourself. Like she's smiling, she's rocking it, she's got all that she needs. She's got these beautiful robes on besides the gold she's got, and the food she's got aplenty, and the light that's shining, guiding her way. A nice, beautiful auric field around her as well. There's the flowers behind her head, so can literally be a call to flowers, planting flowers, digging up flowers, buying yourself some flowers, giving someone else some flowers. Just symbolic of your life flowering right now could also be what that means. And it just, oh, it feels like some good times. I even feel like there's some dancing, some movement. It feels like dancing because it feels like, I don't know, I'm seeing like sort of the waves in her cloak there, like she's moving and it's grooving and it's feeling good. So I'd say if you get an invitation to go dance, or even if you don't get an invitation, go find out where someone's dancing and join them. It just feels like a celebration week, a good feeling week, things to celebrate, that you have everything you need. Good week for the Scorpios. All right, we go to the Sagittarius. Mm. This card came up just a minute ago for another sign. So this is the morality card. This card comes up when you're feeling shut down, stuck, blocked in some way. It shows up a lot in my private sessions with people who've had sexual abuse in their past, childhood sexual abuse. They've been sexually assaulted at some point. This card will show up, and it interferes with their intimacy now. There's still a residue, there's still an overlay. It also shows up with people who aren't having sex. Like either that's because you're single and you're alone and you don't have a partner, or someone who's in a relationship with someone else and there's like frigidity or shut down. There was not sexual intimacy happening, or if it's happening, it's not very often, or that you're not feeling comfortable in your expression of that. This also can indicate jail, literally, or just a figurative jail, or just feeling blocked or stuck and just shut down. You're imploded. You're turning in on yourself. And so it feels like you're bracing yourself too, like almost like you're bracing yourself, expecting bad news to come. I'm like, we got this eclipse happening. Anything can happen. Just give yourself greater ease this week. Allow yourself to flow naturally. If you need to get into some therapy to help yourself with some of this deep-seated stuff, like if you've been sexually abused as a child, that is the deepest, gnarliest stuff that I encounter as a psychic. That stuff permeates people's lives like a tattoo does. I don't think you ever get over it. You can definitely heal it and become a healer as a result of doing that kind of work. So some of you are in that place already that you can send healing energy for other people. You're great with others. There's a lockdown or shutdown when it comes to yourself is what I'm getting. Or maybe you have great relationship, great sex, you just haven't had it recently, or that you don't feel good. Maybe you're sick and that shuts you down, or you've just got too much on your mind or too much work to do and that's shutting you down. It doesn't have to be about sex. It is the morality card, which often can be that sort of puritanical kind of like judgmental energy that could come from religious programming or parental stuff when they're like, oh, you can't do that. That's not good. That's not a good thing. But there's some sort of old overlay is what I get, like some sort of old energetic paradigm that needs to be broken up, shaken down, and cleared and shifted. So you could get some insights into that this week. This eclipse could bring in some aha realization, can really shake things up for you. Maybe if you are single and not getting any, maybe you'll meet someone this week and the opportunity opens up. But there's definitely a need to open up instead of this shutdown energy that's going on right now for the Sagittarius. So brighter times are coming. Get off your own case. Like some of you are being hard on yourselves as well, or like just working too hard. Someone's working too hard. I'm getting like a headache with somebody, like the shutdown, like thinking too much around something, trying to figure out something, solve a problem. Walk away, take a break, go outside, get out in nature, breathe deeply and often, and shake it off. Essential oils. I have to do that right now because I'm picking up on somebody's stuff. Let it go. Open up. Breathe deeply. This too, something's changing on a big time. Whatever the situation that I'm describing is going to be shifting in a big way. And it feels like that shift is coming this week. Yeah, major shifting. Ready for the old, like the rusty iron doors to, I'm hearing the sound of like, if you were opening a rusty gate that hadn't been opened in centuries or something. It almost feels like you're opening up something that's been held close to the vest or shut down or blocked or stuck, and your energy has the opportunity of really getting freed up this week. So be open to that and go for it. Okay. I'll go for the Capricorns after I spritz the back of my neck. By the way, rose water that I pick up at Whole Foods is rose essential oil in a water spritzer already ready for you to spritz. And then I put Rescue Remedy into it, which is this little Bach flower gem I recommend to all my sensitive friends and folks. It's essences of flowers. I'm going to take some of that too orally. You can take a few drops underneath your tongue to help shift energy, because I just picked on somebody's funky stuff. All right, we're moving to the Capricorns. Flowering card. Wonderful, beautiful, lovely things coming in. This is when things are going your way. Things that she's sitting on this beautiful lotus flower, which represents karmic transformation. She's got this healing green outfit on. So she's been doing her healing work. I'm really getting called to the belly too. So it feels like digestive issues have been going on, but it feels like you're working on healing though. So maybe you could have had some food poisoning or something off with your digestive tract, or eaten something funky, or gotten a stomach bug or something. It feels like somebody's going through that. Something like that. Could be Crohn's or something like that too, intestinal, irritable bowel, something like that. There's a lot going on in the intestinal tract with somebody or somebody's. But I feel like that's healing and opening up this week. And maybe you're getting some insight into that. Maybe you're getting some insight around what you're eating, what you're drinking. It feels like some basic, like what you're consuming in terms of food and beverage. And it feels like a lot of water needs to be consumed, but there could be other elements. It feels like there's a balancing out of what you're missing when it comes to health and nutrition this week. She's got like the chakra bracelets on here, like all the chakras are lit up and opened up, excited. And this full moon feels like it's bringing in good things for her. So bringing in good things for the Capricorns. There's also this huge water element here underneath the lotus flower. So they need to get into water, drink more water, soak in the tub, get out in the rain if you can. It feels like a healing week. Flowering can also indicate flowers, that you're gardening, or that you're receiving flowers, or that you go and buy yourself flowers, or you're giving flowers away. But there's just I'm almost getting like the way she's holding her hands and fingers. It almost reminds me of like belly dancing, and just like sort of really getting into it, getting into the groove and letting things flow and getting your body moving, whether that's yoga or dance, or just like, it just feels like there's some really beautiful movement that can also be healing. And again, that belly dancing, I'm feeling something about the belly. So whatever's going on, I feel like there's a lot of healing going on with your stomach, digestional tract. You may make some major food changes this week. Like you may identify one particular food that's wreaking havoc, and just eliminating that one thing can really shift things up a lot. I'm also drawn to her hair. Looks like on one side of the hair it's white and the other side is black. So it's like almost that yin yang kind of thing, the dark and the light. It just feels like everything's well balanced. Like you're not letting the darkness of your own life or the world get to you, and you're bringing in the light. I'm doing what I can to be positive, optimistic, and happy. And I'm trying to share that with the rest of the world. It feels like there's a real centeredness in your goddess self, whether you're male or female. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine. So this is like the love of the divine feminine pouring in, unconditional, no judgment. You do you, boo. We love you kind of energy going on that feels really, really, really lovely. That the energy in the background with the blues to the greens to the oranges to the pinks and purples, it just feels like there's just it feels very artistic, creative. So some of you may decide you want to paint something or draw something or color something or get a new tattoo or something. I don't know. There feels like there's like art and color that's also prominent this week. That's what I'm getting for the Capricorns. Go to the Aquarius. Letting go. I got this with the Aries as well. It is time to let someone or something go for all time. Like this to me is like a dramatic It's time. That's enough. Let it go. Let him go. Let her go. Let it go. Bye-bye. Don't need it anymore. This is shedding something, shedding weight, shedding burden of some sort. It may come with tears. There's like a teardrop kind of thing going on. So you might get triggered and end up crying over something, in which case it feels like there's a really lovely release happening afterwards. Something may be taken away from you and you just have to let it go. All right, ease on down the road. Blessings. It's kind of like letting something go with love. Dropping addictions could also be there, letting go of behaviors or patterns that aren't serving you, letting go of people in your life that aren't serving you. If it's not bringing you joy and it's creating distress and dis-ease, whether that's a substance you're imbibing in, or someone you're being around, or a work you're going to, or a certain habit or pattern, whatever it is, it's time to let it go. And I feel like it's been large and in charge in your life. Whatever it is you need to release, you already know. And this is the week to release it. Just like put an end in it, put a cork in it, give it up, head to that 12-step meeting, let it go. Turn it over, file for bankruptcy, whatever it is. It feels like it's something that's like, can't control it. What can I do about it? I can just love myself in the middle of this shift and change. I can love myself and accept myself in whatever choices I've made so far, knowing I can change my future. There's an 8 here that I'm drawn to, right? So 8 turned this way is the infinity sign, right? So there's this sort of connectedness and karmic pattern. It feels like you're coming back around to some place that you've been before, and as an opportunity to take the same road or take a different road is what I get right now. So release the old path, embrace the new path, because the new is what's exciting and growth producing. The old is death. I mean, it's going to lead to death sooner rather than later. So let it go and have a longer life, and death be later is what I get. So there's something about the dawn, like just when the sun's coming up, or the sunset, just when it's going down. That's an important time of day too, for some reason, that's coming in. So like just the early morning, maybe meditating or something early, just as the sun's coming up, or doing something before everyone else wakes up. Of course, now we've just had a time change, so that's different for everybody, but there's some sort of shifting that's important around when the sun comes up and goes down. So you may be shifting your schedule around too, so you can have more quiet time or meditation time in the morning or something, or around sunset, or you're having an evening walk with as the sun's setting. Something like that is what it feels like. Just sort of tuning into the elements more is what I'm getting for the Aquarians. And we'll go to the Pisces. Celebration. Woo, good news. You're kicking your feet up. The water you're usually swimming in, you're playing in instead. You got the rain coming in, but you're having a good time. This card comes up when it's important to be with your female friends. If you're a woman, this card can come up with men who are messing around with more than one person. I mean, you do you, boo, like whatever. Like, to me, if you're going to be poly, just be honest with everybody that you're non-monogamous. If you're saying you're monogamous and then sneaking around, just be out of the closet. Just embrace being poly and tell everyone around you that you're poly. So there's a question, is someone in my life, are they seeing someone else? Like, it was like, yes. This is also just the beauty of female friends getting together and loving on each other and just being supportive of each other and just having fun. And again, they're like barefoot in the rain, in the flood. This is like being childlike, allowing your inner child just to explode and go. Like, this feels like good news, some good news coming in for you this week. You may be seeing someone you haven't seen in a while, or connecting with someone you haven't seen for a while, whether that's a sister or a close friend that feels like a sister. But there's definitely the need to reach out to your sisters. And if you're a guy, this is about reaching out to your female friends. Maybe you're a monogamous single guy, or you're a monogamous guy that's in a relationship. There still doesn't mean you don't and there's not an other important women in your life, because this is definitely an emphasis on how important women are, and more than one, just one woman. This is several women. So who is your support system? Does it involve several close women friends? Reach out to them, celebrate with them, enjoy them. They have wreaths around their head. They're like getting all into this goddess stuff going on. So this is like, just embrace your goddess self. Even for a guy, embrace that, your goddess self. Gay men can do that usually better than straight men, but straight men, you have an inner goddess as well. Just like women have an inner strong masculine king as well within themselves. But this feels like fun, letting it go, just enjoying spontaneity too this week. And it feels like good news. Celebration can usually bring, you're celebrating because you heard something good, or you achieved something, you finally finished something, you finally accomplished something. So that kind of energy is going on with the celebration card. Okay, so that's all the readings I've got for today. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to reset up in my living room at my keyboard, and I'll be back with an original song. Okay, so now we're in my new living room. I'm going to play a song I wrote called The Heart Choice. This I wrote when I was in a relationship and struggling to try to get the direction of whether or not I should stay or I should go. Given the fact that I've been single for 5 years now, I can tell you how it ended, but I don't tell you in the song how it ends. So this was my turning over the difficult decisions of whether to stay or to go into a relationship. And so I called it The Heart Choice. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. My heart is heavy, still I'm hopeful. I just don't know which way to turn. I pray for guidance, chant for wisdom. I want the best thing for my life. I'm told life's a battle, it's win or lose. But where my heart's concerned, how am I to choose? I share my feelings, still he rarely hears me. Caught in the circus in his head. I want more romance, I'm missing passion, a thoughtful sign I'm on his mind. I'm told life's a battle, it's win or lose. But where my heart's concerned, how am I to choose? I know he loves me, still I'm doubtful. Takes more than love to work things out. I'm facing karma, repeating patterns. I really need a breakthrough now. I'm told life's a battle, it's win or lose. But where my heart's concerned, how am I to choose? I know I love him, but still I falter. This indecision rules my life. I just need more patience? Is it time to step out? I've waited for a clear sign. I'm told life's a battle, it's win or lose. Where my heart's concerned, how am I to choose? Life's a battle, win or lose. Where my heart's concerned, it's time for me to choose. Thank you very much if you've watched this whole thing, for your long attention. Have a great week. Enjoy the, oh, look at that lipstick on my fingers, just for you, on your cheeks. Peace.